Okay, so we are in Hey, Siman Aleph, Sif Hey. Yeah, so in the previous Piska, which we spoke about last week, about why Leitzanas of the Zora is permitted, because it's the antithesis of being machshiv, the proper thing, because you're giving chashivas to the ultimate wrong thing. And we spoke about ish lefima alolo, a person is judged by what they praise, and conversely by what they make Leitzanas of. So, in the previous piece, we spoke about using Leitzanos in the positive way, such as making mockery of Avodah Zarah. We have to know there's a very big difference in the roots of the kochas nefesh and kochas Leitzanos tzad atova now, between Leitzanos, which is good, and kochas Leitzanos ben stama, a generic Leitzanos. In other words, even though they both fall in the category of Leitzanos, they're not the same. They have different shroshim where they come from. We have clarified that the parameter of Leitzanos, the definition of Leitzanos, is to just destroy the structure of significance. Any Leitzanos destroys the structure of significance of the thing of which are being mislocates. Even when it's positive Leitzanos. No matter where, Leitzanos provokes mockery and derision. That's what Leitzanos does. Scoffing provokes mockery and derision. Nevertheless, there's a very basic difference in the root between generic Leitzanos and Leitzanos which is good. What is the difference? The creation of mockery, which is in generic Leitzanos, its essence, is the refusal to grant significance. And you're pursuing the essence of mockery. Okay, so you are refusing to recognize significance and pursuing mockery. But the creation of mockery, which takes place in the Leitzanos of Avodah Zarah, it can only be a derivative. It has to be derived from something else. It's not in and of itself. Leitzanos of anything else is a koyach, a power, a drive, which is in and of itself stands independently. But true Leitzanos of Avodah Zarah, specifically, in other words, if you're not making Leitzanos of anything else, only of Avodah Zarah, so then it's only derived the Neshu Machshi Besatov, because you have significant, you find the good significant, it's the flip side of being Machshiv Tov that you mock the Ra. And therefore the indication, what Leitzanos of Avodah Zarah indicates, it's a very lumdish definition here, Koach HaChilul Hanolad Mikoach HaHilul, the power to desecrate, which comes from the power of praising. Sounds much better in Hebrew than in English. But the idea is that the Chilul of the Leitzanos is a direct byproduct, and only a byproduct, of the Hilul of Avodas Hashem, Yiras Hashem, Ahavas Hashem. So it comes out that you shall be over Chitzoni, even though an external personality, Leitzanos of Avodah Zarah, Domai Leitzanos Tam, Leitzanos of Avodah Zarah, has a similarity in superficially to Stam Leitzanos. They seem to take on the same forms of humor or denigration, etc. In its root and in its source, it is totally different than it. You want to be mezalzel something because you want to be mezalzel. There's no other source. Avleitzusa da Avodah Zarah. It's a little bit repetitive here, but Leitzusa da Avodah Zarah Hamtza Zilzul L'Shem Ribui HaChashivas V'Olam. It's a little bit differently here, but he flips it. Before he said that the Chilul derives from the Hilul, he's saying that the Chilul is to build the Hilul. Flip side. In other words, we're only before the end of then going to pray, recognize, and praise that which is good and that which is worthy of Hilul. That which is chashuv, truly significant. Kasam Mesilas Yesharim. Now, so Mesilas Yesharim writes the famous line, one, scoffing, causes one to reject 100 rebukes, 100 positive encouragements. Please, there's no doubt. This comes from the Gemara, the Paskina, where it Paskins. Just like it's a mitzvah to say something which can be heard, not necessarily shall be heard. So it's a mitzvah to say, not to say something which certainly will not be heard. Because of Krah, now, for the Pachad says, do not rebuke a scoffer. So a scoffer is somebody who we assume our dvarim will not be nishmayim to him. He won't listen to what we have to say. He might hear it, but he won't listen. The other way around. He might listen, but he won't hear it. Sorry. Chazirim is that we see with this the hefer shel kabbalas tochacha, the antithesis, what makes a person impervious to receiving constructive criticism. Leitzanos. Now we know there could be other reasons why I don't hear tochacha from somebody. You despise that person, you find them to be hypocritical, you disagree, and so on and so forth. Now, if that's the case, why is it specifically linked to leitzanos? This is the pshat. We're now talking about refusing to accept tochacha on a specific thing, which might come from many sources and many causes. The Pachad, the usage of kol tochacha, it's clear that the specific types of every kind of rebuke, there's several impediments, mikuvim, and conflicts, which will cause it not to be accepted. But here we're talking about the underlying capacity to receive constructive criticism across the board. The koyach halitzonus bichlal, the koyach halitzonus in its totality, misnagei the koyach kabbalas tochacha bichlal. Actually, totality is one word. The generality. In other words, it's a general impediment, not just specific impediment. It's a general impediment, and not just the specific tochacha, the general tochacha. Anything. The kol tochacha. Why is that? So it says there another insight. Kol tochacha yanahi laores tachshibus shetikun hamuuvas. Kol tochacha is meant to arouse the sense of importance of fixing what one has done wrong. It's meant to show a person how important it is to change. Hizoros chashibazu, arousing this sense of significance, pogas rishoina, the kol leitzonos benefesh. It directly goes opposite the leitzonos because you're embedded in you is this drive to be mezalzel. And somebody's coming here to you and telling you, no, be machshiv. It's a direct collision. The clash is head on. Misparate, pogas denies, refuses to accept any significance. Misparate, when it bursts out. Lamis, to kill as yachas hachashivus, the relationship of significance. Take immediately when it comes up. Leitzonos hachas tochal mea tochachos, this leitzonos which rejects hashtochos, ain't beirushat dafka shodam shochiach oso. It's not necessarily the pshat that the person who you rebuke, mislotzeit actually makes a mockery of the rebuke issued by the person who's rebuking him. It's much deeper. When that is embedded in the soul, it catches aside the capacity to receive tochacha, which is in the nefesh. The Parsha Zohar, Asher Korcha, Lashon Kor v'chom v'tzinan chom. It means korcha is for language of cold and hot. Tzinancha, he cold you down. Hivshircha, he made you lukewarm. Mirtichoscha, from your boiling point. Shukol umos yiraim lilachem b'chem. All the nations were afraid to fight the Jews. Uboze yischiu b'haramokim lachem. And he came, Amalek, and showed the place for the people to come.
Can I ask
Yes.
a quick question on the last part?
Sure.
I just don't understand exactly what he was saying, that somehow the Leitzanus of Avodah comes from Koach HaHilul, like praising Avodah Hashem. How is it necessarily true? You could have Leitzanus of Avodah even if you're an atheist.
That's true. But Leitzanus of Avodah when you're there's two types of Leitzanus of Avodah Zarah. There's Leitzanus of Avodah Zarah which can come from general Leitzanus. But he's saying the ideal Leitzanus of Avodah Zarah, with the one which Chazal or Mishabeach, is the one which is the flip side of Koach HaHilul. In other words, yes, of course, Leitzanus of Avodah Zarah could be the same as any other Leitzanus. An atheist could scoff at Avodah Zarah out of a sense of scoffing, just in of itself. Anybody could scoff at Avodah Zarah just like they scoff at anything. But if you want to do it right, you want to use that heter which Chazal gave you of Kol Leitzanus Asur Leitzanus Avodah Zarah, so it's got to be that the Leitzanus for Avodah Zarah which you're using is specifically emanating from the flip side, which is the praise and the recognition of significance of Yuras and Abbas Hashem.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay. So here the famous marshal of Zambati Utachash Enko Bir Yechol B'Socho. Nobody, no human could go inside. But Ben B'Yachat, so someone Russia comes. Kafatz V'Yor B'Socho, he jumps and goes into it. Ba'afal Pish Nechba, even though he himself is scalded, he crossed over Pnei he made a code for other people. Klamar, meaning, Ein Sof in Yono Shal Amalek B'Zeh Shabav V'Nilcham B'Yisrael. Amalek, it's not just that he came and fought the Jews. That would not be Geferlach. A lot of people like fighting Jews. What makes him unique? This is the ultimate understanding of his essence, which is Amalek caused people to have a diminished view of the significance of Am Yisrael. So now Am Yisrael was on a pinnacle. Everybody recognized the pinnacle. Okay, Amalek can knock them off that pedestal, to mix the metaphors. Alfei Edom, Elei Moab, Yoshek Nan, all those nations, they all accepted the implicit rebuke of Kriyas Yamsuf that they should give chashivas to Am Yisrael. They should be afraid of Am Yisrael because it has real chashivas in the eyes of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. The bath was boiling. No, the chashivas burning. There's significance in the world. Amalek cannot tolerate any chashivas whatsoever. The essence of the Jews is zekeli vanveyu, to knowing what to praise. The essence of Amalek is the power of denigration, of mockery, of scoffing, of desecrating and defiling. Zelumazeh is direct antithesis. Amalek lumas Yisrael. Koach hachilul mas koach hahilul. In Leidas Shel Knesset Yisrael, when Am Yisrael was born in the Midbar, right at the T.S. Mitzrayim, Ba'olam koach hakoras chashivos. There came to the world a cognition of significance. Habati oiser rosachas. It was a boiling bathtub. V'sichu zeh, this boiling, misnageres to Amalek Mahusa, is intrinsically antithetical to Amalek. And because of this intrinsic opposition, he jumped into the bath and cooled it down. Paratz Pirza, the Chashivas Shishma Knesset Israel. He made a hole in this significance, which is Am Yisrael. Out of this breach, he wants to destroy the entire structure of Chashivas. That is the ambition of Leitzanus from eternity and forever. it diminishes the power of makes cold the boiling bathtub. One of the times I got in trouble in high school, there were many times. One time I got in trouble in high school was when our Rebbe was giving a schmooze to us. He really upset us for something, I forget what it was. And was telling us, we have to do this, we have to make 100% effort, put everything into it. And for some reason, and I said, Rebbe, I think 95% effort is enough. And I got kicked out of class and sent to the principal for that. So that is a late sonus, which is immediately creates a krirus. Why? Because the Rebbe was all excited and aroused and hot and really on the warpath, and you make a stupid comment, and it's just lets all this mix of metaphors again. Let all the wind out, let all the steam out of the sails, or the wind out of the sails. So that is that's what Sonus does. It pushes to push cool things down. That's what Chacham said when Yisro heard late takeh. If you hit the scoffer, Pesiari and the fool will become wise. Amalek's downfall doesn't help for him because he has no mohus. He has no intrinsic essence. He has no internal essence. His entire essence is mocking others, scoffing. There's nothing intrinsic to him. That's in his deeds. There's hidden his inner koach, which is the opposition, his komus, and the rebellion. Neged kabos tochecha. Late takeh ze Amalek. That's Yarim ze Yisro. Klomar, Yisro kol kibel tochecha. He saw the rebuke implicit by Apolos Amalek, Shem Apolos Amalek, and Amalek's downfall. But it's not Amalek's chus which did it. It says that all the nations of the world eventually going to come to Hakadosh Baruch Hu and say, everything we did is we should Yisrael, right? The Romans come, the Persians come, they all say we did it for Yisrael, right? And Hakadosh Baruch Hu says, no, you did everything for yourself, right? So, what's going on here? What was their Havamina? Their Havamina is, when we do things, we're doing things for ourselves, and true. But obviously, if it has a positive impact on some other people, it helps other people, so then it's good for other people. We should be considered to be doing some sort of chesed, some sort of tov to the world. So Kadosh Baruch Hu says, no, you didn't. It was no tov at all from your perspective. It was only a byproduct of you that was tov, but it wasn't you. So with Amalek, it's taken to the nth degree. Amalek doesn't even do anything instructive for itself. It's just destructive to everybody else. And the lesson learned from Amalek is not from Amalek himself, but from what happens to Amalek. Ain't Amalek was able to receive a rebuke from his downfall. Amalek will not exist. Sharei, because Etzem Mitzuyuso, its very existence, to Akiras, Koach, Kabos, Tochach, Mir Nefesh, is the repudiation, uprooting of the power to give me a Kabul Tochach. This is the source. This is true in the source. Esav was the source. I'm like, what is his salient misdeed? In literal Torah, it's not the cellular Torah. The scoffing, the mockery. He's lost in the end. There's no tikkun for him. Even though the end of days is a period, and that some nations will be fixed. You come, nevertheless, ain't Amalek with Klauzet. What is not included in this? And since there's no way to fix Amalek, and there's no room in the world to come, or whatever it is, for something which is not fixed, Amalek has to be lost. This is the concept. Every tochach, every tochach is the demand to fix that which is ruined. Can't kill, and then therefore any ruin. I feel that's the even the worst. Shame Batzmius, which doesn't have its essence Nisnagdus in opposition with Tfiyosa Shal Tikkun to the demand of the Tikkun, a Meili Yesh Tikkun Mitakein has hope to be fixed. Avokilko Kozeh, but a kill as Mr. Akiras Koicha Shal Tviyasa Tikkun, that its essence is to uproot the power of something to demand that it get fixed. Can't be fixed at all. There's nothing there. There's nothing with which to latch the fix. It's understood very well. That's the time when everything else gets fixed. He of don't show like that Amalek is destroyed. Where was this very first Koch of Amalek found? Where was it embedded? In the pulling down the bathtub. And they also because he was the first to wage war, the first to take away the chashivas. That's why in the end he must be destroyed. Because he was the first to come and scoff, that's why he is at the end has to be lost forever. Simply because he is on the level, therefore he has no end, and his end is to be lost. By Amalek, by the Chaim Riso B'Refidim, the parsha of Shalach, the battle of Refidim, and Chazal Darshan, Sharafi Demin HaTorah, they were attacked and punished because they diminished their diligence in Torah. Normally, I want to say Zidamon, why I say Rochi Demin HaTorah? It's a very strange language. We don't find it anywhere else. It says that the hands were loosen their grip. Just say they're about Torah. They didn't learn. The kind of Matzin Bitui Chadash. Here we find a new expression. Rifyoni Adayim in Torah. Losing one's grip on the Torah. Ma'ahu Perusho Shachidus there. What's the Perush of this Chiddush? El Sheshuv Heim Advarim. Same thing. Rifyoni Adayim. What does Rifyoni Adayim mean? Perusho have said Hakaras HaChashivus. It is to lose the cognizance of the significance of the thing which the hand should be involved, working at. When do you lose your grip? When you no longer find the grip significant. When your hand cease laboring, when the labor no longer appeals to you. The person loses the power to recognize the significance of the thing he's involved in, he weakens it, he loosens his grip. Okay, so therefore that's what the Parashat Amalek, which is all the destruction of the structure of significance. Find this golden language, roughly a day in HaTorah. There's a midah keneged midah. Do you lose your chashivas? Then the people who have no chashivas for anything, they come and they attack you. And the Talmidim of the Pachad Yitzchok who learn Hilchos Deis Chavos HaLevavos. Tzrichim Ladas, you need to know. Ki mitzvah Zchiras Maaseh Amalek, the mitzvah of remembering the Maaseh Amalek, Mechayeves Osam, it impels them. Lamidas Atzmam B'Matzav Ha'ofchi She'ofi Dem Min HaTorah. Put themselves in the other, the opposite. There's a lashon in one of the Hakaf Simchas Torah. Achazti v'lo arpenu. I grabbed onto it, and I'm not going to allow any Rifyoni Adayim to come between me and the Torah. So anyone say to me, b'makom shel chizuk Yadayim b'Torah, the strength in one's hands. Chizuk Yadayim b'Torah perusha hu. What does chizuk Yadayim mean? Shelo litei makom l'kira tircha b'l'shubalim. When the heart gets to boil, when there is an arousal, don't let it cool off. Immediately use it for some proper purpose. Hanobas why? Because Hanobas, it emanates. When it comes to a recognition of the awesomeness, the significance of Torah, the Izuz Kivoda, and the strength of its glory. Okay, onwards and upwards. Next week, Inyan Bays. Have a good night and a good week.
Thank you.
Thank you. This is sort of depressing.
Okay. I'm sorry?
It's a little bit depressing given the generation.
Yeah, okay. It's chizuk. It's tochacha. You have
Right.
to make sure not to reject it with leitzonus. Okay, have a good night.
Good night.